time it is!
Thank you for checking out the C-Squared Hour. I'm your host, Chris, bringing you another lovely edition of me running my mouth and hoping not to annoy you too much. All right, so what everyone looks for every week, what am I drinking this week? Well, it's a leftover week, folks. Basically, what I am drinking is what I've had left over my fridge for the past couple weeks. So it's a real hodgepodge of beers and what have you. So that is this week's beer. So before we get too far into this, I'm sure you guys are all wondering where the other Chris is. Well, interesting story there. He came up with this crazy business idea. He felt that that ghost towns were not the tourist attractions they used to be, and he wanted to kind of start his own ghost town sort of, I don't know, tour franchise, if you will. I don't know. So he was going through a bunch of, not necessarily back roads, but kind of side highways, and seeing places where there was absolutely nothing going on, and saying, hey, you know what? This would be a good place to build a ghost town. So you build a ghost town, you make up some story how, I don't know, that this place was great until the coal mine collapsed and, I don't know, everyone had to leave because underground of this they thought was haunted or some shit like that. He was going to make up stories, all over the, kind of back roads and just off, really trying to help tourism once again. That being said, what was it here? Yes. Greater South, here it is. The Greater Southwest Desert / River / Foliage Foundation found out about this. I don't know, but they're apparently big on history, big on they get a lot of money from these ghost towns. Apparently a lot of the ghost towns, you wouldn't know it, but are big money for Arizona, northern Arizona and New Mexico money laundering. Really, I didn't know this. The people who don't get any of the cuts of the drugs and people coming across the border, they have to rely on this ghost town revenue. Chris didn't know this. So after he bought the fourth plot, he was going to turn into another fake ghost town. They start coming after him. And these historical society people don't play around. And in fact, they found a loophole to where they could actually arrest him and they can hold the trial themselves rather than going through a court proceeding or anything like that. So he is currently taking refuge in a tribal casino located just east, I believe, just east of the Colorado border that borders Nebraska. Yep, it's the border. I believe the way this works is Nebraska's just north at this point in Colorado. Let me take a look at the map here. Yeah, I have a map. Go fuck yourself. Yeah, so technically he is just across the Nebraska border, just north of Colorado. So he is taking refuge, much like Julian Assange over in Europe. He is taking refuge in a tribal casino there in Nebraska. From what I understand, I haven't got to talk to him much. He's loving it, apparently. gets to smoke inside. There's buffets every day, and this may quite honestly been the best thing that he's ever done in his life. Just looking at who knows when he can get home. I mean, these historical northern desert people are just that sounds racist. They're just basically surrounding the area, waiting for these Nebraska Native Americans to set him loose, and they're holding him there. So that is where Chris is. I don't see this getting handled within 2 months. But yeah, he loves it. He's smoking inside. He's eating well. All the free coffee and soda you want. Who could complain? Well, this is coming out. I thought I was going to do this earlier in the week, just because, that's usually when I do it. But then the president was going to speak, and the NFL draft was coming up, and there was all this stuff that I didn't want to save. I wanted to do. Okay, I'm lying to you. The real reason is after I sang the praises of that nutty doctor in Spokane who was going to have his wife kidnapped, the next day, more of the details came out, and let's just say I was wrong. Boy, does this guy went to town. So, I don't know how many of you listened last week, but this guy going through a divorce, child custody thing, as these things usually go, went on the dark web to have his wife, or to allegedly have his wife kidnapped and addicted to heroin for a week and sent back. Which, in my opinion, doesn't sound like the worst kind of kidnapping you can have. Alright, I'll just say that before I go too further. I've heard of worse kidnappings. So, a little backstory on them. Allegedly, no, this isn't alleged. Apparently, they were married in 2016. And in 2018, this is where we start getting alleged. He decided to invite another woman into their marriage as some sort of a third, I don't know, whatever, third woman. Well, the wife became increasingly uncomfortable. All right, here's my problem with that right now. Hon, you were uncomfortable from the beginning. You just got brave enough to say it, all right? Just tell the truth. You didn't like it, and you felt more uncomfortable with it. I don't know. I'd like to know how old the kid was, and if this was a pregnant prior to marriage thing, or parents pushing him to marry a doctor. But I think that whole thing was just kind of a cop-out with the wife. She just got tired of it, and she became uncomfortable. Whatever. So, according to the reports that I've seen, he was going to take this girlfriend of his down to Mexico while the wife was kidnapped. So, I don't know, obviously, I don't know if that was his intent. Maybe he just wanted a romantic getaway while the wife was away. Maybe he wanted an alibi. I don't know. I'm not in this man's head. So, the girlfriend, found out about this, allegedly, in February. I need to stop saying allegedly. Like, it's clear. This is all from the report. I don't have to. Found out in February. And apparently she tried to get out, but he talked her into it or whatever. And then, a couple months later, they still went to fucking Mexico. They say one is born every minute. Well, this gentleman found two of them. By the time I get done telling this, you're going to agree that the guy's a sleaze and all that. But I'm still... I don't know. I'm thinking, thinking that this could have been handled a lot sooner if these broads were in their right mind. So, still went to Mexico, and while they were in Mexico, she found his burner phone that was apparently the one that he was using to hook up the dark web kidnapping. She got mad and threw it into the pool because she thought he was talking to other women. Honey, you know he's married. You were involved with it. Like, are you shocked? I don't fucking get it. Anyway, so now this is where I got a little confused because there was a recording of them. They didn't say what it was, but an argument that they had or what have you. That was down there. This is when he drew up a sex slave contract, and after this fight in Mexico, made her prick her finger and sign it in blood. All right, buddy. I could have kept singing. I could have tried to take your side. I could have tried to play defense lawyer so long, but then you make her sign a contract in blood. Come on, man. I'm trying. I'm trying here. I'm trying to be devil's advocate, and some people would say that's the right term to use in this case, but I'm trying here, and you just then you make her sign a contract in blood? Come on. But it was it was quite the contract. Apparently she had to comply with her master no matter what. Any punishment, whether it was warranted or he couldn't get in trouble for. I don't know if that holds up, but and he had like 2 underground containers, like storage containers, that he would lock her in for hours. And as a punishment, and this was supposed to be the thing, honey, you still went to Mexico with this fucking guy. He did that to you multiple times. I get, there's things with abuse where you're afraid to leave, and obviously this guy's clearly, in my opinion, nuttier than a douchebag. But he's nuttier than a 40-year-old white woman. But the thing that and this could be the news story, but the thing that really got me is they're talking like how it was such a surprise he could do this, or how could a man that lives... He's making you sign blood sex contracts. He's locking you in basements. Let's stop with the surprise, people. The babysitter they had, or the nanny, or whatever they were going to have, apparently he was texting her saying he wanted to roleplay kidnapping her. Why are we acting... Why... And yes, he's a doctor. He's whatever. Okay, I can sit here and argue whatever you want this whole time. Why are both... The news is playing this off like both the wife and the girlfriend are surprised that anything like this can happen when he's doing all this other shit. Stop being surprised. You could be scared. You could be afraid to leave. I'll give you that. But to be surprised? Come on. Well, his defense team might be looking to say there's mental issues there. No shit. But a lot of this does come from a custody battle, from what I'm reading, and I'm leaning towards her getting full custody. Just leaning that way. I'm not exactly sure. Now, if she was kidnapped, addicted to heroin and then set free. I could see split custody until she gets her act together. I could see the argument for split custody there. But since the kidnapping never went through and no heroin addiction at this point, I'm going to have to say, with the facts I know now, I am going to go on record. Sorry, doctor. I've been trying to be on your side, but the signing in blood, you lost me at the sex contract signing in blood. You lost me there. I'm sorry. I had your back. So I'm going to say, with what I know right now, I believe she should have custody. In my humble opinion. So obviously I had to start out the show apologizing because I guess there's no word. I had to apologize because I made this guy seem like a fucking modern day Cupid. And really, he's just a modern day nut job. So, in my opinion, from the stories I read, again, I'm not rich enough to get sued by a doctor yet. No matter how crazy this doctor is. I'd like to know what kind of doctor he is. So, big news. I gotta finally, Fox Sports figured it out. Australian rules football is back on American television on Fox Sports 1 and Fox Sports 2. They're showing it live too, so hours are the same. I still, during my stupid ass insomnia bouts, I could still watch it. I just don't have to, I don't run the risk of getting computer aids from streaming it online somewhere. Or one thing, the one problem I'm running into is they're all American commercials now. I don't get to see what's on demand on Foxtel cable or whatever the fuck it is down there, which appears to be their Comcast. I don't know. I don't get to find out that Hungry Jack's, that's Burger King. And I'm not exactly sure which name I like better or not. And I still haven't figured that one out. Hungry Jack's or Burger King? I don't know. See, I think it's probably because Australia still doesn't have the best reverence for the king, if you know what I'm saying. So, folks, I'm in a little better mood. I got my Aussie rules football back. So, oh yeah, another thing another reason I was waiting to do this is I wanted to see the fallout, the George Floyd, or the Derek Chauvin. I think it was Derek. Yeah, because why not write that down, right? That came back and he was, convicted of all the charges, and so it was a good day and all this. I wanted to see what the fallout was going to be from all that. What I noticed, not one riot. Not one. All right. There was plenty when when this first happened. There was riots all over the place. I get that, and I get that, but I'm confused. All right, and this is just me being flat out stupid. All right, I'm really dumb, so I have to compare everything to sports. All right, so here's what I'm wondering. Who won? Who lost? Because when the Lakers win the championship, there's always a riot down there. Or when the Eagles won the Super Bowl, there was a riot in Philly. So when they won, they rioted. Now, the last loss riot I can remember would have been, again, I could be just way off, but when the Canucks lost in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals, I remember Vancouver had a big riot. So Vancouver riot when they lost. Lakers, Eagles, they riot when they win. So does that mean that this was a loss because they didn't riot? Or does that mean the protests before when there were riots. That was really, they were celebrating a win. You guys are confusing me. So here's what I need you to do with all this. All right. We got to get together. Sports fans and social justice activists, warriors, marchers, all you people. We need to get together and figure out what we riot for and what we don't. All right. Because I am confused. Because when I watch a sporting event in America and a team wins, there is a riot when that team wins. That's how it's been. I can't remember the last losing riot that happened. But there are plenty of winning riots. But by that same token, that means George Floyd, his death was a win? That doesn't sound like it's correct. But basing it off what I know about riots, that's what it has to be, right? Americans riot when they win, so that must have been a win. So that means since there wasn't a win, was this a loss? I'm just confused. So I'm going to let everyone else, decipher the conviction and all that and what it means for the future. I want to know where we stand. Do we riot for wins or do we riot for loses? That's what I want to know. That's what I need to know, okay? And that's another thing. The whole LA riots with Rodney King, they were obviously rioting for a loss there. So then that would have been a loss, and then this would. But that was 90. That was 90s. That was 92. What the fuck? I am so lost right now. We need to come together as a society, and then storming the White House. That wasn't necessarily a riot. That was just a bunch of upset, angry white people with nothing else to do. That's a whole nother thing. We need to get together as a society, all right? If there's anything this country can come to a consensus on, I think this is where we start. This is how we start bridging the divide between the haves, the have-nots, from the blue line to the black line to the environment. Here's what we got to figure out. Do we riot for wins or losses? That way I can know what happened. All right, that's it. I want to be able to turn on the TV and without even reading the bottom, see what's going on across the country. Say, oh, look, cars are on fire. That must mean this happened. Well, really, in this situation, it could have been either or. So let's figure it out, people. Let's figure it out. One thing you really you really learned is no matter how many times they get caught, no matter how many videos go around, no matter how many get embarrassed in fires, middle-aged white women still have not figured out what cancel culture is. They still haven't gotten the memo. I saw a few, but the most notable I saw, and these were 3 early to mid 40s ladies, look like they take relatively good care of themselves, at least from their Twitter picture. All with some sort of line that says, hey, when Chauvin was arrested, he just put his arms behind his back. Imagine what the world would look like if Floyd had done that. What? It's an interesting thought. But Karen, you still haven't got the memo, have you? God, there's nothing better than nutty middle-aged white women. Nothing better. How do I want to say this? They are one of the few groups left that refuses to censor themselves at any cost. All right, I know I say a lot of stupid shit. All right, I say a lot of stuff that could be seen as offensive these days, this day and age. I don't walk around the street doing that because I know, hey, people might not take too kindly to this. People might not understand the joke, or they might not understand satire or irony or any of those things. So, you know what? I might have to keep some of this stuff to myself. Middle-aged white women don't have that yet, and God bless them for it. Even crazy white supremacist people won't go and announce that in the middle of a fucking parking lot. Unless there's a group of them, unless they organize something. You're not going to walk through the streets. I don't think you belong in this neighborhood. They don't say that shit because they know they can get in trouble. Middle-aged white women haven't gotten in trouble for enough shit in their life. Haven't gotten their teeth kicked in. They haven't gotten... I mean, this could turn into a whole domestic violence thing. I better take the exit on this, eh? But middle-aged white women, please don't ever get the memo. Don't ever do it because you're still saying shit. You're still making sure that someone's going to get caught doing something they're not supposed to, regardless of if you think it or not, and I applaud you for it, alright? It's either Karen videos or stolen valor, and quite honestly, not enough people steal valor anymore. So, nutty white women. I actually almost retired from, I don't know if retire is the right word, quit from this whole podcast adventure. And as many of my listeners know, I can get a little down on myself sometimes. Well, watching Giants-Marlins game, and they showed that there was a famous bunny there. A fucking famous bunny. I'm not talking about a Latin rapper who gets hired by the WWE for 2 weeks. No, a bunny that went to the fucking baseball game, that some lady was holding this bunny and taking pictures of it, and the commentators thought it was the greatest thing ever, and then they find that this is a famous fucking bunny. And I can get barely 10 fucking people to listen to this shit, and there's a fucking bunny. I don't get it. I don't get it. And I think the fact that I don't get it, I thought that meant, maybe this was just never meant to be for me, So anyone who enjoys listening to these, you're welcome that big rabbit at the Giants game didn't convince me to stop doing this. It was close. What the fuck? This rabbit could get famous, but I can't? What the fuck? Which could say a lot about me, is I have less talent than a 20-pound, because it was a bigger rabbit, a 20-pound rabbit. I have less talent than that. But I'm still here. What else was I going to go into? Oh, another reason I wanted to put off, doing this in normal times, because the NFL draft was happening, and I watched that, and I tried to do a whole analysis the last draft, but I didn't give enough of a shit to do it. So I'm not even going to fucking pretend this time anymore. I'm not going to... This episode, I'm not pretending like I care enough. All I'm going to say is they really tried to VMA this fucking thing up. They really did. That's what I was trying to think. It looked like like Eminem's performance at the VMAs when he walked down. It looked like that's what it looked like. It looked like they were trying to turn it into the VMAs. Like, well, the VMAs suck now. Let's see if we can't do that. But I don't know. We'll see what goes on. who's going where? Who's going to Mac Jones to New England? So, whatever. Aaron Rodgers wants out of Green Bay. We'll see how that goes. But then the other thing I wanted to bring up, obviously the other big news, was Biden's 100-day address to Congress. Does anyone remember what he said he was going to do in the first 100 days? Anybody? I don't blame you. I don't remember either. I'm just wondering if there's like anything we can do, because this was 100 days, and shouldn't we know some stuff by now? Shouldn't stuff gotten done? There was I had all these opinions written on it. I'm not going to say it any better than my girl Meghan McCain, who basically said that all you centrists who voted for Biden, you just heard the most progressive speech you've heard since FDR, which it kind of sounded that way. It did sound very, very, I don't know, there's just a lot of money going out the door he's talking about, and not a whole lot of ways for have it come in, except, corporations. Well, guess what, buddy? Everyone who would vote for your bills, they're bought by the corporations too. In fact, you were too. So, good luck with that. One thing I did notice is, I don't know if this is a Delaware thing or if this is just a Biden thing, but he sounds kind of like he's from Newfoundland. He sounds like a Newfie. So, I don't know. I don't know if that's just not Panhandle. I don't want to say Panhandle. New England, but that sounds stupid. Anyway, whatever. The country's Cadillac or something. But is that just a thing from there, or does Biden just sound like a Newfie? Or, here we go, Republican conspiracy time. Maybe he's so in bed with Canadian interests that he's starting to talk like them. There you go. Take it and run with it, folks. But I can go in depth, but yeah, like I said, a lot of money. And you're trying to get it from the corporations, good luck. Well, I'm going to say. But what I did want to talk about, Nancy Pelosi was way too fucking excited to clap that whole fucking night. Holy shit. I swear to Christ, I saw her at least have to catch herself once, if not more, where she stood up too quick and forgot that she's 80 fucking years old and almost fell on her back. Thank God for that chair. She loved clapping that night. She couldn't get enough of it. Even Harris would look over and like, again? Really? Like, you just did this 20 seconds ago. Let the guy finish a fucking sentence. It's like, we get it, hun. We get it. And there's the whole tradition, like, well, I'm a Republican, so if he says something good, I can't clap for that unless it's about the troops. And the Democrat, well, no matter what he says, we have to stand up and clap. And it was the same thing. It's the same thing. It's funny. But Nancy girl, calm it down. You're getting a little too long in the tooth to jump up that much and that quickly. Like I said, even Harris kept looking over like, we're doing this again, huh? Doing this again. Every third fucking word. Pelosi's up there. Let's start clapping now. She even jumped the gun a few times. Like, she knew what was coming up. And so there's one point where I believe the line was, because this is the day after the Floyd conviction came in, or the Chauvin conviction came in. And he said the words, the death of George Floyd. And she stood up clapping, seemingly forgetting that he hadn't said the good part yet. Yeah, that he was going to say something like the death of George Floyd wasn't completely in vain or something like that. But the death of George Floyd, and here shoots up Nancy, like, ooh. It was like The Office when Michael Scott tries to upstage Phyllis's wedding. For the first time, Phyllis and Bob. Oh no, we still have another part of this before we do that. Yeah, and I get it, Nancy. You had to sit on TV and figure out a way to look upset the whole time. And now you get to be on TV and you get to be excited. So you're really trying to shoot that forward. It's like, oh, I got the clapping meme and I got the tearing up the speech meme. I bet I could get a meme for agreeing now. Let's see if that works. Honestly, from what I know of that broad, and it's all the public image. That's all it is. Well, I could, and just with how phony she seems, I could honestly, I would be willing to bet money that was in her head. The fact that, well, there's all these memes going around of when I disagree with somebody. I bet, after I get my hair done again, I bet I can get some memes going around of me being agreeing and look at how good of a clapper I am. I was worried for you, Nance. I was worried. Yeah, she loves standing up and clapping and did it way too goddamn much. Even if Girl Harris wasn't on board with all of it. Yeah, and they had to show Elizabeth Warren a couple times. They had to show Ted Cruz a few times. Mitch McConnell. I'm trying to think of everyone they showed on there. The obligatory parts where, oh, we know Ted Cruz isn't going to agree with this, so we'll put the camera on him while the people who do agree are clapping. Or, wow, this is something that's going to be right up Elizabeth Warren's alley. I bet she's going to be clapping a lot. Let's show her. But it was nothing. Just wanted to say we're going to get more money to people and they should go to school longer. But there was a big thing I took out of this, and I'm going to share it with y'all. Again, a lot of the reason why I waited, okay. To be honest with you, the real reason is because I was upset that I was never going to be as famous as this big fucking bunny at the Giants game. Well, I wanted to see the fallout of the Floyd thing, and I wanted to see what happened. You see, this is like parentheses, so we can keep talking. We keep talking like this, and the rest of the show doesn't count. I wanted to see the fallout from all these, and I wanted to see the stories. And it didn't happen, so I'm going to do the fucking job for you guys. I don't know why I have to do this. I don't know why I should. But for some reason, the perfect opportunities for the Republicans to jump on something, to get something started, either internet-wise, these viral memes or whatever the fuck you want to get started to try to push your agenda for. You had two that I did not see go around. I heard a lot of people say his speech was bullshit. How could he do this? Da 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 da. He's gonna do this. He's never going to. Those are what I saw. Internet Republicans or publicans or I don't know what you supposed to, what they want to call themselves. I don't know, but first of all, many a time in that speech, for which you can't fault the guy. He would say, "Oh, pardon me," or "Excuse me" when he'd misspeak, or something along those lines. Where were you on that? You've been calling him old and senile and not, but I didn't see anything about when he said, "Oh, excuse me," or when he would misspeak, or when he would, nothing about those. Where are you people? Why am I the one who has to notice this? Why am I the one who says, "Huh, look at this. This seems like something that they should jump all over," and they don't. People. You want ways to get to him. You want ways for this to happen. You have at least 3.5 more years. You gotta get better at this internet stuff. You try. The problem is the craziest ones of you, the QAnon people who, I'm sorry, don't mean to call you crazy. You're all my people. But you let those people get good at internet and you just let that pass by. Where are your memes? Where are your... He misspoke. Oh, pardon me. Excuse me. Which happens in almost every speech. But if you've been calling a guy senile for a year and a half, don't you have to jump on that? I think you do. And I can't... If I'm the smartest guy in the room, it is a real fucking dumb room. That's what I'm going to say. Other point I wanted to make is he went off on this whole thing about the George Floyd thing when, in between the 3 sentences, when Pelosi wasn't clapping, that he could get in, is, he said he wanted to, we need to do something about systemic racism in this country. Fair enough. A lot of us can agree with that, I think. Except you are sitting, or you were standing 2 feet in front of someone who built her career to the vice presidency on systemic racism, on locking up poor, lower class drug offenses exponentially longer than other crimes. Someone who basically, if you looked at how she voted and how she was a prosecutor and all that sort of, you look at all that, she is exactly who you were talking against. Okay, that's fine. She's not that anymore, whatever. But you Republican people, stop letting the nuttos take over social media. Here's where you say, here's perfect. There's a meme saying you should be, you're against systemic racism when you were, it's made for you. It's made for you. Please. I guess what I'm really, and yeah, I can go into deeper about how, Harris's, record as a prosecutor really, spits in the eyes of all these progressive Democrats and all these, and whatever, we can go on. What I really want to say is there was a lot of, I would say there's an excessive amount of dumbass memes and dumbass pictures and dumbass things where, oh, when you say you're against corporations, but you are a corporate, all that shit going on. What I'm trying to say is I know I have enough Republican friends who would share stuff like that on the other side. So Republicans, get to fucking work, alright? Not that I agree with any of them. Not that I agreed with the ones that came out the last 4 years or the previous 8 years or whatever. I don't necessarily want to agree with them. I just want to see difference, alright? And if you're not going to do it, I'm going to have to go back through the old meme records, the archives, that was the word I was looking for, through the old meme archives and, pick them out, but all I'm going to have is Trump. So, guys, come on. I just gave you, I haven't been following politics that much just for the simple fact that nothing's really happened. Everything that's being talked about on the news is vaccine and vaccinated and when you can open up, which unfortunately has become political because, hey, guess what? States that are closed and states that are quote-unquote open are having the same type of cases and case numbers and all that. So maybe maybe we're at the point where it doesn't fucking matter anymore. Yeah, so that's been the whole thing. I haven't been following politics that much because of that. So again, that's another reason why I didn't know what happened the first 100 days or whatever. But I've been following social media trends enough to know that not enough of these memes were being made based on that speech. And there was enough to make them. Trump makes a speech. There are dozens and dozens that are coming across my phone screen the day after it happens, and I'm not seeing any from after this. Guys, I gave you 3 days so I could talk about him. I waited 3 days to do this so I could talk about him for you. Getting back to the whole thing, because I was depressed about the fucking rabbit. I gave you 3 days to come up with something here. Help me out, all right? I'm giving you what I'm trying to do right now is I can make a few memes because I'm sure I can figure out how to do it and I can make them. But what I see this as a give a man or teach a man to fish sort of situation. I'm giving you Republicans the two they're evergreen points that could be turned into a couple, a few beams that could, go around there. You just got to find the right pictures for it. And there was him misspeaking every now and again. There's your Sleepy Joe stuff. There's systemic racism, standing in front of someone who built a career on systemic racism. You have all these, they're there, all right? So now, I'm trying to teach you to fish. Go out there and catch your fucking meal, huh? I don't know what the fuck that was. All right, I think that's gonna do it all. I think I'm kind of starting to leak oil a little bit, running on fumes. Whatever you want to go. All I know is, guys, got my AFL football back. We have Kentucky Derbies this weekend. I'm not telling you how to bet because I'm done doing that. I don't have my bets in yet, but I will. I will tell you how I did, but anytime I tell you how to bet, it goes the exact fucking opposite, and I look like just a real silly goose. So I'm not going to do that again. I'm going to put my bets in, and we're going to see how close I am. What else is going on this weekend? I feel like there's a couple. Oh, the Ruiz fight. This seems like a kind of a put Ruiz back in the ring kind of thing. Chris Ariola's kind of been that guy for a while, but I'll talk about that again later because I've been dead ass wrong with every fight I've talked about before too. So, as I stated at the beginning of this is a leftover beer episode, which means I have a lot of good pale ales, lagers, IPAs in my fridge, and I just put them in a bucket. They're all local. Like this is no lie. I had Deschutes. I had 10 Barrel. I have they're all local. It's just I gotta kill some of my extras, and so that's what I'm doing here. So extra beer again, Chris. If you are in the area of Western Nebraska and you find the Indian casino I was talking about, go ahead and stop in and visit him. He'll probably be at the blackjack tables, unless there's a poker tournament going on. He'll be doing that. I know he likes to shoot craps too. All I know is he'll be smoking inside. That's all I got. So he'll be there. So, let him know. Let him know you still stand with him. Let him know you're still looking forward to that. As always, I gotta say it. Subscribe, like, follow Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Boner Alleys, or whatever the fuck. I'm gonna start OnlyFans, but it's just gonna be close-up shots of my asshole. So see how that takes off. And since I got nothing else for you, I will see you all next time.